Questioned behind closed doors. Former Trump Labor Secretary Alex Acosta is being interviewed by the House Oversight Committee 17 years after working on the controversial non-prosecution agreement with Jeffrey Epstein while serving as a federal prosecutor. Last hour, Oversight Democrats expressed concerns with the ongoing testimony. Take a listen.
It is clear that Alex Acosta holds no remorse and does not feel, even in hindsight, that Jeffrey Epstein received a sweetheart deal.
Mr. Acosta, at least to us in this deposition, essentially said he didn't have faith in the victims, their stories, and their ability to tell their own story and their own testimony, which is deeply disturbing to all of us.
Something doesn't smell right here, and we're going to get to the bottom of it.
He is completely not credible, and has been clearly involved in the broader cover-up.
Joining us right now, we have Democratic member of the House Oversight Committee, Congressman Suhap Subramaniam. Welcome, sir, certainly from the great state of Virginia there. But let's talk about things that have been happening, because you were in the room. And it seems there's a lot of frustration among Democrats over what you're hearing from Acosta. So first of all, describe his demeanor, given all the pressure from the intense focus on this case.
Well, the Republicans were asking him softballs, and so when we got in there and we were asking tough questions, he was very defiant. And it was just striking, the lack of remorse, given what happened and what happened after he signed that non-prosecution agreement. More women were trafficked, more women were raped, but there was a clear lack of remorse. He didn't even acknowledge those women who were raped, despite all the reporting and all of the evidence. And so I think that's where my frustration was that this was someone who should at least acknowledge that he made a very grave mistake, but there is a clear defiance and lack of remorse.
With regard to saying he is unaware of the suffering of these women, do you believe him? Does he come across as telling the truth?
It's really hard to believe that he didn't know what was going on. I mean, his memory faded whenever we asked very pointed questions. And what's interesting was, Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump are very close friends at the time. And so he lets Jeffrey Epstein off with a sweetheart deal. And then 6 years later, he's being nominated for Secretary of Labor by the new President Trump at the time. And this comes up. He admits that this came up during the vetting process. I can't believe that the Trump administration, if they actually wanted to get justice in this case, would nominate and confirm and have someone like him serve in their cabinet. That's just astounding, but it makes sense now why they don't want to release the files.
And why is that? I mean, you say it makes sense.
I think the president and Jeffrey Epstein were very close friends. I think they also had mutual friends as well. And so there's very clearly something going on, something fishy, right? And Alex Acosta's memory right now is very faded. He can't remember very key things. He says he didn't have much control over the case, even though he was in charge of the case himself. I mean, there's a clear lack of responsibility, certainly. But I think, again, this goes back to what we've been saying all along, which is there's a clear cover-up happening right now. And I don't know what Alex Acosta has to say other than he seems very defiant and very, there's a lack of remorse on his part.
But there's no implication that there's anything of a criminal nature. It could be just covering up out of embarrassment. We do want to put that out there. Let's talk about your colleague, Congressman David Min, who told reporters in the last hour you were hoping to get guidance on the types of evidence that the committee can demand from the Epstein estate. Are you optimistic on that front?
We're going to push every single button we can, and we're going to go where the facts lead us. I don't know who's criminally implicated. I don't know who is complicit. I don't know if it was the president or not. And I certainly know that Alex Acosta let off one of the biggest criminal traffickers our country has ever seen, and yet there's no remorse there as well. And so, there's a lot of evidence that we need to find and we need to get a hold of, like the bank records, for instance. The victims told us to follow the money. money. There's a lot more we need to do, but it's just very, very frustrating. This is why people are upset, is because people like Alex Acosta come up with these sweetheart deals for the rich and powerful, and they show no remorse and say that's just the system we're in. He even laid the blame at the victims in some ways by saying they wouldn't be credible witnesses. You tell that to the victims. The victims have been so courageous and brave and have put themselves out there publicly and privately over and over again, and yet people like Alex Acosta have failed them every single time.
So, Congressman, on the money front, Chairman Comer revealed the committee has started receiving materials from the Treasury Department. Can you tell us more about what those materials are and what you're hoping to learn from them? I mean, is it simply about following Epstein's financial transactions?
Again, you know, a lot of this came from suggestions from the victims to follow the money. And they said that the money will tell a story because Jeffrey Epstein, you know, he had his business dealings, he had his, you know, social life, and he had his criminal trafficking ring. And they were all related. They interspersed. He used the trafficking ring to get business deals. He used his personal wealth to get deals and to get women trafficked. And so, again, we want to know where the money leads us, because that's what the victims have told us.
All right, Congressman Suhas Subramaniam, thank you so much for your time, sir. Meantime, we have this breaking news to share from Capitol Hill, where the Senate has now failed to pass